We're live.
What's going on? It's the father. Back to drop one. This one's going to hit a little closer to home today. We're going to talk about the current failure in Americans with healthcare system. And I'd like to open by saying that, the blind cannot lead the blind. It's just not possible. I don't care how much sunshine is outside. And the blind cannot lead the blind. And that's right now, current state of the American mental health system. You have people working in these buildings, and they are, for all intents and purposes, they're just as worse. They're just as bad. I mean, you're supposed to be non-partisan. What is that word they use?
Non-partial?
Non-partial. Yeah, you're supposed to be non-partial and all that stuff. These people are partial. They're supposed to be able to operate with integrity. They can't do it. They can't do it. They're not even supposed to tell your business. They go home and tell everybody exactly what happened at work that day.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, and then they come to work and they got sex and clicks. Is that how mental health works? No. You got a bunch of kids, man. These people are 20, 30 years old. You might have a few 50-year-olds sprinkled in there. Lifers, been in the game, been doing it forever, but most of these people in here between their 20s and their 40s, they're still babies. And you got the blind trying to lead the blind. They got just as many problems themselves.
Yeah.
Just because somebody's an authority doesn't mean that they don't have problems. I think there's a famous internet story, if I can look it up. Who was Google bailiff for TV show Unalive Wife.
How do you spell bailiff?
Bailiff. Let me see. I'm gonna look on my phone so let's see what it comes up with.
Unalived wife?
Yeah, I use Unalive because we're on say certain stuff.
And TV bailiff accused of wife shooting death and says he didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Renard Spivey. Renard Spivey acquitted. Harris County deputy turned courtroom TV. Leading to acquittal on wife's murder.
Authority, right there. Ain't that authority?
Yeah, that is authority. They're saying that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
But who knows? Because he was a suspect for the case, so there's a little bit of something there.
But he's in there. Those are his buddies. All those law enforcement dudes, they're his buddies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is how that works.
Yeah.
You're talking about people, man, with no scruples. Think about that, man.
No scruples?
Yeah, no scruples. They got, and they can't face a date. It's not my, let me back up. They cut the lines of communication and then want positive results.
Yeah, no, making it a specific way can throw off people. That's no doubt, because it's it'll irk your nerve,
And I'm looking at Devon, or whatever her name is, like a little kid, bro. She looks like a kid to me.
She is quite young. She's
Real
under
talk.
40.
You talking? You done?
Yeah.
Imagine that. That's how can I deal with somebody like that? What you looking for? I'm the finished product. You want somebody that's gonna help you get the house paid off, help you get all your stuff taken care of, and make sure you ain't got to fight with the bills no more. Right? That's what she want, right?
In a way, yeah, because she's working a job to pay for her bills. Yeah.
So I know what I'm dealing with. That ain't how this works. they're just as toxic as anyone else, terrorizing their neighbors, doing all kind of shit.
Yeah.
All under the guise of I'm a good person. Where? And to who?
Yeah.
And it's got you, look how irritated you are. You normally have way more energy for the cast.
Oh.
I could tell, genuinely. I could tell you're pissed.
You know, you made me crack a smile from that. No, because it's like, not to get into my own personal life too much, but like, you know, some people can irk your nerve and can like throw your whole day off, you know. But yeah, no, my bad guys was like, it was kind of like trying to work on like, you know, not talking too much, like over talking, you know, oversharing, because like that is a thing. There's this thing is too much information, you know. So it's like you gotta find the balance. Was working on finding my balance, but yeah, no. Usually it is me contributing a little bit more, being more of a yapper, but working on that.
You got irritated today because that's what I'm telling you. It's hard to believe. These people are in school, the powers of positions, school, and then you turn around and you see them on the street, and they're standing there with the axe.
Yeah, you know,
reality, you stripping off the axe. Yeah. They on the helicopter shining the light on them. This is this one ring $100,000 a year plus as a psychologist, 130 plus, and now he done tweaked out.
Yeah.
Unaligned this whole family with a chainsaw. He out there in the lawn, his New Balances on, butt ass.
Man, no, that's crazy.
That's what they are, though. They people. They flawed people.
Yeah, no, that's like
people want to be worshipped like they're not. I mean, we're almost back. We're almost back, and I hate to say it, man. We're cruising back into the dark ages.
Yeah, we might be.
The way mental health is going right now.
Yeah.
We're cruising back into the dark ages. You got religious fanatics. You got no unchecked religious fanatics with no consequences for their tomfoolery. All sects, whether it's Muslim, Christian, their tomfoolery knows no limits.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a fine line between religious fanaticism and insanity.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair because there's a difference between like being being overzealous versus being straight out insane. But like when we have scrutiny, we also have grace. So like, you know, they're human like us. So like, you don't pretend like you're anything more than that. You'll have grace. But if you try to be, you know, more than human, we're gonna treat you like such and we'll scrutinize you. So that's all fair, you know, like the same grace, like the same scrutiny that we have grace. So, you know, if they're human and they're practicing what they're preaching, you know, we have grace for that. Like it's like, oh well, you know, they're still human, you know, they're flawed like us. So
being flawed, apologizing for mistakes, owning terrible behavior,
yes,
and admitting the fault. Those are all parts of being a good person.
Correct. But then if you're like, oh, we're better than you, all it takes is, you know, this to do that or that to do this, or, you know, like you kind of are cruel with your power. You know, Hitler's a good example of that. Look at what happened to Hitler. You know, he killed himself in his war room. And it's like, you know, don't abuse your power. Don't ever abuse anything that you have. You know, always be thankful for what you have, but never abuse it. At least that's you know, that's my take on it. Like that's pretty standard life rule.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're operating, and think about that. Now it brings you to the leadership.
Yeah.
You gotta think all the way from top to bottom. You gotta look at what you're dealing with. If the leadership is tolerating this and thinks it's funny, what difference does it make?
Yeah, no, it's kind of like it'll make you go into a shell almost, and like you'll be a shell of your former self dealing with this kind of tomfoolery, this kind of goofiness, very inappropriate, you know. Like there's grace for people who are like, oh, you know, like, well, we're only human, you know, we're gonna make mistakes. There's grace for that, but if you can't even admit that, and you're like, oh, we're so much better, we study this stuff and we're already perfect. Like we're gonna treat you like you're perfect, and when you mess up, you know, we're gonna call you out on it. So that's exactly what's going on. So, yeah. Don't pretend you're perfect if you're not, and there's nothing wrong with not being perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect. There's only better and worse. You know, some things can be better by your perspective, in a general perspective. Some things can be better, some things can be worse. You know, for me, some things could be worse, some things could be better, but it's like, you know, you're grateful for what you have. and that alone will like solve any kind of like mental illness or any kind of like doubt that you have about life. Like life is so rough. That's true, but at the same time, gratitude is like its own it's like dopamine. Being grateful for stuff can really like change your mind, your outset, your mind, like your outlook on stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to get you to be grateful before all of this.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
But hey, this is what it took you to get it. I'm glad you got it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm grateful you got it. Great, that's how gratitude works.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go your way, you still be grateful that it went some direction in the way you want it.
Yeah. It's the small things, guys. Awareness.
Brings us back to these people that work at these places and these group homes, these halfway houses. They're just as flawed as the individuals in there. 99% of them are only able to work there because they haven't got caught with what they're doing.
Yeah.
If you got caught with what you were doing, some of what you had going on in life, you wouldn't be able to be here. So really, it's not even their background. Isn't I got nothing on my background. Nothing on your background. Neither do most child molesters and serial killers. Their background be perfect.
Yeah, and they haven't been caught yet. No, that's all, guys. That's what we're talking about. Is this kind of tomfoolery that you deal with on a daily basis? There could be someone who's listening on the podcast right now who dealt with some tomfoolery. Don't worry about it, and the best of luck to you. You have our graces.
And mental health, man. I just been looking at it. Maybe the last 10, 15 years, and it goes down all these mental health facilities, and the ones that are open. Just look at what you're dealing with. Look at the people who work there. How on God's green earth do you have them petty? Let me back up. I'm going to say it. I'm going to go ahead and kick the elephant in the room.
Okay.
There's no way on God's green earth that menopausal and perimenopausal women should be doing anything involving mental health.
Oh yeah, because they're chemically affected.
Your body's already, you're cooking in your own body. Your skull is cooking. Your body's overheating.
Yeah, no. Hot flashes. Hot flashes.
Yeah, you're going through all kinds of mental changes. What do you need to be in charge of somebody else's mental health work and you're perimenopausal?
No, that's a good point because it's like they're as susceptible to mental health issues as we are.
Kick the elephant in the room. You looking around at all these. The reason why it's not going to get any better is because the men are out. We're not going to be arguing with these women in these healthcare facilities like that. Only men that are emos and emo men and thin men are the only people that really work in there because ain't no real masculine male going to be in there putting up with none of that.
Oh, you said emo or feminine men? No, yeah, that's a good point.
They're going to be there. That's who's going to be there.
Or like a youthful guy because there's some young dudes.
They got on sandals, bro. They got on sandals with the straps and socks on. I promise you.
No, they do. No, they do.
I promise you. I don't got to see their feet. I know what I'm talking about. They got on sandals with the straps and socks on. And that's who's in there. And that's an emo man or a feminist man. And so, that's you got perimenopausal women and weak men running healthcare. Mental health.
Yeah, no, that's not a good look, guys.
You go to the hospital. All those nurses are in their 40s and 50s. They're in menopause. They're in stages of menopause, going absolutely insane.
Yeah.
From like 40 to 60s, women are literally cooking for 20 years. They're cooking in their own skin, and they're going insane. They're having racing thoughts. Their emotions are imbalanced. They're out to lunch. It's a scientific fact. You can call me an asshole, but it's just a scientific fact.
Yeah.
They're out to fucking lunch. Menopause is women out to lunch. And that's who is in the facility. That's who's in charge of mental health.
Yeah.
40 and 50-year-old women have no control over their own emotions. And so you think that she's not going to be a petty teenager.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And risk career suicide? Because you said something. Now it's time. So now it's only two things. Now either you're going to have an episode and go back, which nullifies your complaint. You understand that?
Yes.
Or, it's like I said, for the people listening, this was close to home. All I can say is just that's what you're dealing with. You like you should well, let's take a look at you got Google up. Let's take a look at the symptoms of perimenopausal and menopausal women. Well, we'll start with peri because that's the intro.
How do you spell it?
Right. P-E-R-E.
Oh, P-E-R-I, menopause.
Yeah.
Transition before menopause can cause various symptoms, including irregular hormonal changes, irregular periods, shorter, longer, or missed, lighter or heavier menstrual flow, hot flashes and night sweats, joint pain and stiffness, dryness and irritation, urinary incontinence, skin changes, dryness, wrinkles, hair loss or thinning, mood swings, irritability, anxiety, depression, sleep disturbances, difficulty of concentrating, and brain fog.
I wrote all that down and slipped it in there before you looked it up. You believe me?
You wrote it all down. What do you mean you wrote it?
Yeah, I made up.
Oh no, you did it. That's AI. That's AI overview. AI takes it does a pretty good job most of the time. So it's like,
so
especially on these kind of topics. Yeah.
I'll slow down and read it in the paragraphs. So go back to the part where it talks about it starts talking about all the stuff that's going wrong, the symptoms.
Oh, well, it's everything. It says irregular periods, longer, shorter, or missed hormonal changes, heavier or lighter menstrual flow, hot flashes and night sweats. And then the physical is joint pain and stiffness, vaginal dryness and irritation, urinary incontinence, skin changes, which is dryness and wrinkles, and hair loss or thinning. And the emotional is mood swings, which is irritability, anxiety, and depression, sleep disturbances, difficulty concentrating, and brain fog. Which is a lot of stuff. That's a lot. That's almost like you're dying.
How many people in there are between 40 and 60?
Like,
yeah.
Quite a few of them. Oh well, there's like maybe one woman who's like 46, another one who's like, well, there's an older woman too who's like 50-ish. So there's like two of them.
She's in full menopause.
Yeah.
You should look that up. Just take out the peri and look up menopause.
Yeah.
Google it.
Doing it right now. It's on the screen, guys. Menopause symptoms are diverse, include irregular or missed period, hot flashes, night sweats, sleep disturbances, vaginal dryness, mood changes, and bladder issues. These symptoms stem from hormonal shifts and can significantly impact physical, emotional, and cognitive well-being. While some women experience few to no symptoms, others may have severe symptoms that can last for years. Damn. This is the AI overview, too.
That's going to be a nice person right there?
No, because they're already going through some stuff. Like they're already mentally, like they're not mentally ill, but they're like their body is hormonally different. Like fundamentally, it's like going through something compared to not. They're going through something. Like yeah.
This is so I'm teaching you to know your enemy.
Yeah.
You gotta know your enemy.
Yeah. No, that's all a fact. Yeah, you gotta consider this when you consider like what kind of person they are, because like kind of mental health stuff they got going on. So like if they're going through menopause, they're gonna be a little bit more irritable than not. Yeah, no, it's crazy, guys.
And that's who's in charge of healthcare.
A lot of women are, yeah.
40 to 60-year-old women out here in charge of healthcare, and it's hell to tell the cat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you got that's who's in charge. So as you're thinking about and you're sitting and you're like, a lot of people with these patients are struggling. They're in these places and they're struggling to try to get to where they need to be. all the while they're in there with a woman struggling because her body is aging out of, being a young lady, and
Yeah.
her body is dejecting her, and now she's going crazy.
Yeah. No, that's crazy.
She's not hot anymore. Nobody, she's recreational fun only.
Oh. Yeah.
Yep. The dude that's with you is the dude that loves you. You might as well sit your ass down and take the love that you got. But now, it is. Now they single. Now you got a bunch of single women in there. And what do single women go through?
Dating issues, being lonely.
Man, dating issues. So you're telling me that she's gonna be going through this menopause stuff and dating issues, and she's gonna come to work and be a good person?
No.
Huh?
No, because it's like you gotta think, like you gotta factor all that in. Like there's like you're supposed to leave that at the door. They say, they're like, oh, leave it at the door. So it's like, all right. But it's like, if they can't do that, then they're not really fit to like lead in mental health. Because like even if you're still practicing, there's grace for you, because no one's perfect. But if you're like, oh, we're so much better than you, whoop de whoop whoop, we're gonna treat you as such. And they kind of operate from that kind of perspective. Like it's like, oh, you know, this is like that because of this. But it's also they're almost like they're like saints. No one's a saint. You know how long it's been since the last saint was made? Like it's been like over like 100 years since the last saints. Like the last saints were like the whatchamacallit, the saint like Saint Patrick. Saint Patrick's one of the last few saints, and that was in like the 1800s.
And them niggas was messed up. They wasn't.
Yeah, and the saints were terrible too. So it's like,
Well, here's the thing: we've never had a real grip on mental health ever. No part throughout history did we have any way of ever really dealing with people with doubt. Like this may be the best ever to where we are now, but it's still pretty bad.
oh yeah, no.
You're not helping. Nobody getting the help they need. And then you got these women that are crash outs. I mean, menopause is crashing out.
Yeah, it is. And it's a natural physical thing that happens to your body. Like a lot of people romanticize it. They're like, oh, a woman with menopause is like, oh, she's not gonna be able to have kids. It's the perfect woman for me and my kind of endeavors. It's like that's crazy.
Somebody had to tell me I was dealing with some issue, not just in house, but around me. And they were like, bro, if she's snapping at you like that, bro, imagine how she talking at you.
Oh yeah, no, that's crazy. Yeah, that is something you gotta factor. You gotta factor everything in, guys, and that's one of the things that you gotta factor. Like, cause it was almost like, oh, dad, the old man's being a little rough around the edges. But then when you experience something, it's like it'll set the tone. It'll be like, all that was for a good reason. It's like, yeah, maybe he's onto something. It'll like not to say less, but because it's no point in yapping about my personal experiences. That's not what we're here for. We're here to get the generalized, understanding of like the whole shebang. But it's like when you experience something, it'll change your outlook on life. So like that like it was one of like those kind of like experiences for me, to say the least. It'll kind of set the tone and be like, this is where you're at with these people. And it's like like when when Ice Cube's like, here's what they think about you. Here's what they think about you. It's like that. So it's like here's what they think about you. So here's what we have to say about what they think about us. It's like we're taking it the next step.
Now you done showed up that you on land.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Mom about that too. Talked to her today, but was talking like gotta get my stuff together.
And they see you come from, they see your dad pulling up, your stepmom pulling up, and you come from a little piece of something.
Yeah. It might irk their nerves, they might be a little racist. Like, if you're a racist, it'll definitely irritate you. Like, oh, they're not supposed to be wealthy, whoop-de-whoop whoop. They're all supposed to be broke on welfare. It's like, come on. White people are the majority of like the welfare users. Like, white people make up 60%, black people make up like 15 or 30% or something like that, and the 5 is like Asian or Hispanic.
It's into the inner city, so it looks like more because of how the ghettos are stacked up. If they
Yeah.
call them ghettos, that means that they admit that they know what Germany did.
Yeah, because there were Jewish ghettos that were like terrible because they lived in concentration camps. They barely had nothing. They made them fight over supplies. So it's like it's crazy. Oh.
So yeah, and that's, you know, as long as you got perimenopausal women, right, in charge, mental health, stuff like that, single women, but dealing with the disappointment, dating, you know, mental health is going to be for people who are more stable. That's a work environment for stable people. If you got unstable people in an environment that requires ultimate stability, you got to be grounded when you go in there. You got to
Yeah.
have 20 years marriage under your belt. You know what I'm saying? You can't
Yeah.
be newlywed in there.
No.
Or get in the dating.
And that
You
is,
know,
we
you
have
got to
some
argue.
newlywed people here. Actually, we do. We have some people who
Yeah.
are on their honeymoon right now.
Yeah. And those are the worst people. Because they're trying to get their life. You're telling me a person
No, that's
who's
a good point. They're paying a
already
mortgage.
stable.
They're paying a mortgage. No, they're not stable. They're not financially stable. They're not emotionally stable. Like they might be emotionally stable, but they're not. They're definitely not financially stable. And if you're not financially stable, it'll affect your emotional. So how are you emotionally stable? Like that's what you're teaching me how to think. So it's working now. It's like, if you're not financially stable, it'll affect how you feel emotionally because you're worried about your financials.
Bingo.
Yeah, because like there's no one who's got a paid off house unless
Bro,
unless you earned it from your
listen,
family.
I'm 50 years old and done cut my teeth in the mud and I got 2, 3 houses paid off under my belt. But I really pulled some stuff out. I grabbed, my wife and my father-in-law, and I pulled them out of the 2008 crisis like Superman, grabbing people from burning buildings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I made that kind of money. And think about it, paid for solar panels.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, I always knew that I would have to borrow money to go out of the country. No way. You gotta borrow your using credit cards when you go out the country. You're borrowing money.
Yeah.
So nobody really has it like that. They borrow money to go out the country, bro, or go do stuff or whatever they go to do. They borrowing money. And you gotta pay that shit back. And
Yeah, so you're not financially stable.
A stable person. You talking about a stable person in healthcare. So
Yeah.
now you just got married, you just dumped probably 20, 30 racks going overseas. How are you stable?
You're not. That's a lot of cash. Yeah.
Crazy debt. You in crazy debt. How you stable?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Nope. It's kind of the things you gotta like think about. And then it'll affect like what you're like. It'll affect like how you interact.
About your case, but it's only on the surface, right?
Yeah.
That's only on the surface. Underneath it is they're just below the glossy veneer. They're struggling. They're talking to you about their case, but he's trying to figure out, who's Steve from Facebook is.
Who's Steve?
Yeah, he's trying to figure that out. Because she still got her friend Steve from Facebook. He just got married.
Oh.
But you stable. Why you worried about Steve from Facebook?
Oh, that's what you're saying. That makes sense. Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy when you think about it like that. Yeah, the same grace that we have scrutiny. In the same scrutiny we have grace, guys. That's all.
Well, how about integrity will keep you away from scrutiny?
Yeah, that's why we give you grace. That's part of being integral is like admitting that you're a human and you're not perfect. But it's like that's not what it looks like that's not how it looks to me. It'd be looking kind of dicey sometimes. It'd be like, was that a threat? It was like, now you hear people talking about you. It's like it leave a foul taste in your mouth, leave you wondering some stuff, leave you kind of annoyed with the whole shebang, the whole situation.
Yep, but it's designed because it's. Well, what did I tell you at the very beginning? I was very sincere and very succinct with you.
Yeah, you were like, don't let it bother you.
I said she's not going to risk career suicide. It's easier to put you back in lockup than it is for her to do a career suicide.
Yeah, no, that's true. So all it requires is for me to stay on my square and keep doing my thing.
And just don't talk to her. Just interact with her as necessary.
Alright.
No, keep it real stiff. You know?
Yeah.
Talk to who you have to talk to, deal with who you have to deal with. Don't, you're not, I keep telling you, because I don't want you to crash like that, because everybody's not going to be your friend.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't want you to crash.
Yeah. No, that's good advice. That's good advice, though. It's not like you don't care. You're speaking from a place of caring. So your advice is definitely heeded. Thanks for that. Nope, we take a break, to get he coaches, so it's just nice to have someone with wisdom to teach, basically, guys. That's all we're doing here. It's back and forth, but it's also there's a lot for me to learn from people, especially my dad, who can teach, and he's able to teach, and he does teach. So it's a nice way to get knowledge, learn about the world. Some things will be culture shock, but it's also that's part of the game. That comes with the game is the culture shock.
And you think about it, right? So you think about one of the most strictest cultures on earth when it comes to dealing with black people, right? Is the monks.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Traditional monks are the hardest supposedly to get along with. But for me, I get along with them the easiest.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Traditional monks.
Yeah.
Traditional monks are the easiest.
Yeah.
They are the easiest for me to get along with, and that's what I would be easier to go on. I'll be on this recording. I'd be willing to say that because that's part of it. A lot of people, and just to drive it home, that's American women can't get along with a traditional monk.
No, they couldn't. American women could not get along with a traditional monk. They could not. They'd be hard pressed to try to, because they have different values. The woman is valued differently in their society. So is the man. The man is supposed to provide. The woman's supposed to be submissive and feminine and not cause ruckus. And that's exactly what feminism is. They caused a ruckus about what they wanted. And that's fine because there was some issues, there was some disparities between men and women at the time, but it was also they took it a little too far now. And that's why we got that extreme new age feminism stuff. The original feminism was we want voting rights, which is fine. You should be able to vote, but it's also now you guys have gone too far with it. And you got the dyed hair and you got the fish mouth syndrome, and you're terrible. You're terrible people.
We're talking apostolicism.
Yeah. No, postmatism. We talked about postmatism before too.
Yeah.
Bright hair signifies you're poisonous to predators. Very poisonous, deathly poisonous. Yeah, and they dye their hair bright colors and stuff, and it's why would you, natural is always better. In my humble opinion, natural is always better. You said what?
I'm surprised you ain't got a few purple heads where you at.
No, there's everyone here has natural hair, which is nice. It's nice to be around people who enjoy themselves naturally versus who think that they can get a thrill out of being a little unnatural with dyeing their hair or something. We got natural haired sisters here, who got Afro puffs, there's only one person, but she wears wigs, but that's my mom wears wigs. She also wore her natural hair too, so I was whatever. She put her hair in in the bonnet, the blue bonnet, be whatever. At least she's taking good care of her hair. Versus, and we got one sister here who's she got her hair all natural, which look nice. It do be looking nice. It'd be low key black power, strong, low key. But it'd be super low key. She don't be on that type of energy on the loud type beat. And everyone's what does that even mean? What do you mean the loud type beat? It means they're low key about it. They're not all loud and boisterous about it, guys. But no, we don't have any dyed-haired people here right now. They used to. They told me we got a room for a transgender person. Someone's in the transgender room right now, so they're pretty inclusive. at the very least. But like, it's like it'll leave a bad taste in your mouth if you experience something that'll like throw you off. It'll be like if they're talking about you, it's an issue. But if not, then whatever. It's no biggie. But then there's also like the other incidents that be going on with me. It'd be irking my nerves. That's why it requires me to play the game to cool down, enjoy my time here versus be all worried about the next little hiccup. You know.
Yep. And don't.
Yeah.
Just don't give them that. That's what they want.
Yeah, no, they want me to like be off my square enough to like where they can like, oh, we got to commit them again. No, no, it's not gonna ever come to that again. It's not. Oh, oh, he hung up. Okay, well, that was strange. His phone must have died. You call him back. Yo.
Thank you for calling U3612.
Well, that's it for now, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't. Comment down. Oh, hold on. Never mind. Oh, you have me. Hello?
Sorry about that, guys. I switched to the vehicle. I was going somewhere and I had to get in my vehicle.
Oh, yeah. Have me almost ready to end the video.
No, sorry about that, guys.
My bad. No, it's all good. All right. Yeah, we had like.
Yeah, when you're dealing with healthcare in the West, man, the thing that you gotta understand is that that's who's running it.
Yeah, mentally ill people who are chemically imbalanced.
Yep.
And that's not like
imbalanced, and these are between 40, 50, 60-year-old women.
No, that's true.
And
there's some youthful people too, but like, yeah.
I mean, you really think that that's somebody having those types of mood swings, bro? Is gonna really be out for your best interest? Not at all.
No, that's a good point. They're not. No, that's true. That's a good point. What the hell?
Seatbelt.
Yeah, it sounds like you hear the alarm going off, it's beeping. It's kind of like a little consistent tone. But nope. What are we at here?
Yeah,
we're at 40.
I just wanted to touch base on that, and that I don't want to go too far on it because I want to do a part 2 to this, but I just want you to know that and be thinking about what you're dealing with, where you at. That's why it's always good to have a full inventory. Like when you're dealing with someone, how old are they? What are they going through mentally, emotionally, financially? I gave you those questions for critical thinking.
Oh yeah, like if this is done, how does this affect who is affected by this, who isn't affected by it, how does it affect them, why does it affect them like that, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep. Who, what, when, where, and why. Those are the 5 questions that you have to answer at all times.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Been working on being more reasonable, and that's one of my things. Is it's almost like it's got to be like a constant stream of consciousness of awareness about even asking even if you don't know the answer to the question, it's better to ask it and ponder it than to not. Yeah.
Huh. So yeah, that's the whole thing, man. Is that just to remember that the one thing, even though we're dealing with something personal and it touched the nerve today, the one thing that I want people to remember is that, you're dealing with mentally, emotionally, and physically imbalanced women in a healthcare field. So you got to know that to start with.
Yeah, so that's already the whole shebang is already off kilter.
Yep, and if you know that already, hey,
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a good point. It's not like you're being rude or anything. You're simply stating it as it is. Saying it as it is. That's all. There ain't nothing to be offended about. It's simply this a fact. Women who are 35 to 50 experience menopause, and it affects them chemically. And it also plays a role in how they interact with the world around them. Be that fainting or passing out, or being a little bit rude to the kid who's like trying his best. It's something that you got to factor in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying to you. And the fact that you understand that now means that you know to keep your stuff together. That you get up tomorrow, do your group, do what you have to. But my best advice to you is just know what you're dealing with at all times, son.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
Know what you're dealing with. This one's hitting a little close to home. We can't be as general about it. As much as I like to try to be as general, I really, I want you to, be cautious. The situation warrants calculating because, here's the thing, and I always say this to you: you can't deal with somebody, so you can't have somebody asking you to not be tactful while they're being tactful.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You gotta ask for what you receive. You can't be a hypocrite.
So if you understand that they're being tactful, then you have to understand you're going to have to be tactful too and operate with the end in mind. What is the end? The end is September 28th. You're getting out of there. You call your dad, like, hey, they let me go. Come get me.
Yeah, no, that's the goal right there, and we're doing everything to get that goal.
Keep working towards that, and that complaint was, for her. Don't let something that's for her be for you. That complaint was for her. She was the one who wanted to, have that interaction with you like that, and I brought it to the forefront.
Yeah, no. It's like you can kind of tell like what's going on. Like at least for me, like my last few like my intuition has been spot on lately. So it's kind of hard for me to like question my own intuition when it's like it was like, oh, this is that. Bam, that's that. And it's like, well, okay, that was interesting. And then it was like you like you see it with another thing. You're like, oh, my intuition was correct on that. And then you hear something that your intuition is like, yeah, they're talking about you. It's like it's hard to deny that when it's been spot on these last few times. It's kind of hard on me to not acknowledge my own intuition and how accurate it can be sometimes. It's scarily accurate, very scarily accurate sometimes. And that's kind of interesting too for someone to be in the mental health like situation, but their intuition is spot on with these kind of things. It's kind of hard on me to be like, yeah, well, let's ignore that one. Me being correct again for like the 5th time, whatever. No, you gotta really take that in and like really be like, yeah. So if my intuition is like this, then that means that that's a possibility, and if that's a possibility, then it's gonna require me to move different. And that's my whole mindset right there. So it's like.
So
Man.
That you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
That you understand what you're dealing with means that you know that you're dealing with. Let's just wrap it up, and I'm gonna tie this up with a nice neat bow. The blind can't lead the blind.
No, they cannot.
When I say the blind can't lead the blind, that means 40 to 60-year-old women and emu men and financially unstable and emotionally unstable people have no business in that building conducting healthcare. You're out to lunch.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a good point. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Wait, are we in here?
Yep.
Alright, thank you guys for tuning in. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't. Comment down below on what you liked, and if you have any recommendations on our next topic. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.